What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Street Loose Garage. Today we're going to be changing out Bryce's clutch on his 240. I just pulled up to his house. This is an S13 with a S14 KA. S14, S13 KA. Same if you're going to be doing the clutch. Same stuff. Sorry, it's going to be the same stuff. But stay tuned. Stick around, see what we got going on, and we'll show you how to get this done. Alrighty, first things first, we're going to pop the hood. And alrighty, we got our hood pop on. Next thing we're going to be doing is removing the negative. And okay, that's all. Then I got it high enough to where I could lift it up on the frame rails and then put the jack stand underneath it so we can get it higher up in the air, since we do not have a lift that's available to us. So that's how I'm going to be jacking it up. I'll be doing all four corners like that. Alright, now we've got the car jacked up on all four jack stands, so we're nice and secure. Now for the clutch that we're going to be using, just the XTD Stage 2 clutch. Nothing crazy. Here's a throwout bearing, pressure plate. It is a lightweight flywheel, so that's going to let it rev up a lot faster. Be nice for this KA. Now, next thing is we're going to start and taking off the drive shafts, and that's going to be these 4 bolts here. And usually you would have to remove the exhaust, but luckily the previous owner actually made it snake around the trans. They're in the middle, so we're going to scoot up. Oh, there I go.
Same process?
No, hell no.
No?
Do not touch those. The carrier bearing right there, the middle piece. Nope. Over. That center bracket right there. That comes down. There's 2 bolts up there.
Okay, looks like maybe try another 14 millimeter, and I'll need a ratchet with an extension.
All right, but
I would say we used it on the SE.
Okay, now we got
it's
all
right
those
there
bolts
underneath
out,
of it.
and then tap this out. And now when in the center, you're gonna have a carrier bearing bracket, and that's gonna be right there. It's gonna be 2 bolts, and they were what, 15 millimeter?
14.
Okay, 14 millimeter. Same thing as the back of the drive shaft nut and bolts. So now we're gonna go ahead and slide it out. Try and get a pan underneath of it, because you are gonna be making a mess, because trans fluid is gonna be coming out. All right, so
I'm going to.
now that we got the drive shaft off, we're going to drain the trans fluid, and you just use a 1/2 inch extension. And oh, it's all in my hand.
He's got that rag.
So don't dip your phone in the gear oil, but now we got the drain plug off, and like I said, I used a 1/2 inch extension and got that out. It's like 120 torque, something like that. Yeah, what's next? We're gonna take off the slave cylinder up here, and then disconnect it off this fork and just put it off to the side. And I believe it's 2 14 millimeter bolts, and we will get those off. And like I said, we're just gonna put that off to the side and don't let it smack you in the mouth. So a lot of the bolts or like sizes you're gonna be mainly using on this job is going to be a 14 millimeter and a 10 millimeter. That's all we really used so far, wasn't it? What the? So now we're gonna crack open this bolt, and that'll be the bottom one for your starter, and then there's one, I believe, right above it. So you'll have to get above from out the car. Get that put on. Also remember which transmission bolts you took out because they are different sizes. I believe it's mainly just for the differences. The ones at the on the top and the ones that are holding the starter are longer. So we'll get these finished up. Just on the sides, not fully yet because we still got to unbolt that sensor from up top. But after that, we can take off the brace down here and just take off 2 bolts on each side. And then we can drop this thing and get to the clutch. So, see you guys in just a second. Okay, so you guys probably will not run into this problem, but we did for some reason. And someone has decided to put a super long bolt right here. And you can't unscrew it. There's like something holding it back. And we don't know what it is. So what we're gonna do is just cut it. Bolt. After we get this secured up by a jack stand or the jack, and we're going to, we actually have a lot easier access now to this back bolt. You guys probably can't see it from right there. Here, let me grab the phone. That will show them. Okay, see that bolt right there? That bad boy, and then there's one above it. No, there's not. It's on the other side. So that's the top one right there. And one there, and then right where we cut right here. So that was it. Alright, now we got all the pressure plate bolts out. Now we're going to pry off our pressure plate with a little pry bar. And make sure to grab the clutch plate as well with it. Oh yeah, it's got a bunch of hot spots in it. Alrighty, so now we're going to remove the flywheel bolts. And they are 19 for this KA 24 dual overhead cam, just a simple KA. This one. So now we have all the. Oh, we lost one.
Oh.
We have all the flywheel bolts out now. The pilot bushing is having so much bread push out the pilot bearing, which is a piece of metal that's like, you know, pressed into the crankshaft. So now, watch this if you guys are ready. Ha! There it is. It's actually... Alrighty, so now we got the new pilot bushing installed. All you need to do is get it level with that ridge right there. And as soon as that's flat, then you are good to go. Now next we're going to go ahead and start putting on the new throwout bearing, which is right here. Well, this is the old one, but if you can hear it, you can hear the bearings in it rattle pretty bad. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not, but it's a lot louder in person. So now we're going to grab the new one and get this installed. And sometimes you can knock these out, but it looks like apparently you have to get these pressed out sometimes. But like I said, sometimes you can knock them out. So we're gonna try that first, see if we can get lucky. But if not, we'll have to press it out somehow. Alrighty, so now we're going to get the bearing, the throwout bearing off the sleeve. And the way we're going to do that, we're going to use a 30 millimeter. If it's perfectly on the outside of this lip, on the throwout bearing, and we're going to hold the top down and just hit it here on the sides. There we go. So now the sleeve is released from the throwout bearing, and as you can see, it has a lot of grease, which we have already ready for the next throwout bearing, which we gotta now punch on there. We do not have a press at the moment, so we are going to be using we're we're going to be using a piece of wood and that hammer and just hitting it slowly. So let's do that next real quick and get that done. Yeah, you pretty much just barely tap it in, and it's going to go right in. It's not bad at all. As soon as you hear that solid noise, that means you're good. And you can also see it because it'll be seated up on the inside of it. As you can see there, there's no gap now. Now we're all good to go. Grease this up a little more, and then we'll be good to go. Okay, so what I had to do was actually fully remove that clip and then push. You're going to want to push back that fork as much as possible without launching the throwout bearing at your face. And then click it back and make sure it's equal up here, so whenever you put this in, it'll stop it. And you'll be able to have that pressure against it. So slide that in. And now your throwout bearing is back together. Now, on these, whenever you get them brand new, they have a protective coating on the outside of it. And the best thing and only thing I use is brake clean. So you're just going to go ahead and spray it onto any of the mating surfaces on the pressure plate and flywheel. Alright, so now that we got all the bolts screwed down, we still got to torque them down. Alright, so now we're going to use this clutch alignment tool. Like I said, after you get that all torqued down, you're just going to stick that in. It's going to fit perfectly inside of that pilot bearing, make it all even and everything. Then we're going to grab our clutch disc. This is a stage 2 XTD clutch. And now time to put that pressure plate on. The pressure plate will go over that bull ring looking thing right here. This is just to hold it. All good to go. Pilot bearing, throwout bearing, new flywheel, clean the pressure plate, clutch disc is in there. Go ahead and lift up the transmission and go ahead and put it on and try and get this thing wrapped up tonight. Now after getting everything torqued, you're going to want to put the transmission underneath a jack with a piece of wood if you're not able to use a lift. Definitely helps if you have someone helping you. But just go ahead and not forget your dust shield. Ours is cut for easy access and really just the part that's going to be covering the dust. And for the starter, we got the transmission in, and now we got everything bolted up. Just got to put the last couple bolts in real quick. Slave cylinders back on, two 14mm bolts on, starter bolts are back on, everything's back connected. Pull that out. And if you can see, there's a ball right there. And that gets clipped into that little metal piece. I actually forgot to do that while I was putting in the throwout bearing. So all I had to do was just hit this up with the hammer right here and just beat it up a little bit. And then for the slave cylinder, you're going to put the nipple right there in this little hole and the indentation, and then you're good to go. Now we're going to hook everything back up, put this drive shaft on, and get out of here for the day. And I'll leave Bryce up to putting the fluid in. And you can fill it up from up top, and then you can connect your negative battery. A good thing to remember while you're doing that is that you do need to have a 500 mile period. This is definitely a dirty job. Yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it. So appreciate you guys watching. I look like the damn tin can man. Anyways, I'm gonna get this drive shaft back on, and then I will see you guys later. Like I said, that is gonna be it for the install today.